Hey everyone, and welcome back to Bits and Byte. So in this video, we are going to write a guessing number game in Rust. In this particular video, we are going to write a code which will generate a random integer between 1 to 100, and then it will prompt the player to enter a guess. After a guess is entered, the program will indicate whether the guess is too low or too high. If the guess is correct, the game will print a congratulatory message and exit. So without wasting further time, let's get deep dive into the code. Firstly, we need to ask the input from the user. So as the first part of the guessing game program, we will ask user for input, process that input and check that the input is in the expected form or not. To obtain user input and then print the result as output, we need to bring the IO input output library into scope. The IO library comes from the standard library known as std. By default, Rust has a set of items defined in the standard library that it brings into the scope of every program. This set is called prelude, and if anything is not present in the prelude, then we can use it explicitly using the use statement. For example, here we are using the use std io. So here we are using the standard input output library from the Rust existing standard library. As we have discussed in the previous lecture that fn main is the entry point to the any of the Rust program. So whatever the program that we are having is need to be consolidated under the fn main. So now under the fn main, I am giving the header for my application. So under the println, guess the number, and we will ask user to provide any number. Please enter any number. Let me run and check this. So here I can see guess the number and please enter any number. This is working perfectly. Now let's move to the another part of the code where we will implement the input output functionality so that user can give the certain inputs to the program. So for that I am defining a variable here. Let mute guess having name guess, and this variable will be of string type, string new. So here I'm writing this mute because by default the variables defined in Rust are immutable in nature, which means that we cannot change the value present in it. So to change the values or to make it mutable, we need to use the mut keyword over here to make it mutable. And now we are recalling the standard input output operation or function that we have defined on the first line. So here we are going to recall that particular function. So to do so, I will write here io stdin dot read line. So this read line, what it will do is it will read the input from the user and will store it in a variable that we have defined, a variable of name guess. Along with that, we are going to provide the panic over here. So panic is the error handling in Rust. So if whatever the input I am providing it does not match the standard input our variable can understand, then it will call the panic and will give us some message. So I'm writing message that is going to return if panic has been called. Fail to read lines, and that's all. Now we need to recall the input that we have defined in this particular guess variable. So to do so, I will write here println. you guessed, and under the curly braces I will provide my variable. So whatever the value is being stored under this variable is going to return under this format. Okay, we are done with the code. Now let's run the code, see whether it is working fine or not. Yep, it's working fine. I will provide some input over here. So hello, you guessed hello, and other thing. So this is the string type variable. So I can write a string or integer as well as both. I will provide it certain input called 34. You guessed 34. So this is the first part of our code where we are getting the input from the user. Now in the another part of the code, we will implement the guessing functionality. Under that guessing functionality, we will determine whatever the guess we have provided is matching the random generated number or not. So that's all in this video. See you in the next video.